I knew we were late before we even parked. The cars were already angled in that casual, territorial way, front wheels kissing the curb, engines ticking as they cooled. Inside, I could hear plates, laughter that arrived on cue, the sound of people already comfortable. I smoothed my daughter's hair with my thumb, the way I do when I'm bracing myself more than she is. The door was open. No one came to greet us. The room didn't pause. It simply continued. My mother saw us last. She was holding a serving spoon like a baton, directing traffic between the ham and the fruit salad. Her eyes flicked over me, then my daughter, and she rolled them, not dramatically, not cruelly. Practiced. Efficient. Wish you'd asked before showing up, she said, as if commenting on the weather. The sentence landed softly and stayed there. I felt the old instinct rise to explain, to list the reasons, to apologize for existing outside the schedule. I opened my mouth. Then my daughter leaned in, warm breath against my jaw. Should we go, Mama? Her voice was small but steady. She was watching my face, not my mother. Waiting to learn what this moment meant, I nodded. We turned around. No scene, no slammed door. Just the soft click of the handle and the sound of laughter resuming at full volume, as if someone had turned a knob back up. In the car, my daughter buckled herself and asked if we could still get pancakes. I said yes. We went somewhere bright and neutral and ate too much syrup. She told me about a book she was reading. I listened, and something in my chest loosened. For 2 days, my phone was quiet. I kept it face down on the counter while I folded laundry, while I helped with homework, while I made soup from whatever was left in the fridge. The quiet felt earned and suspicious at the same time, like a ceasefire no one had announced. On the third morning, my phone buzzed. Can you call me? It's important. It was my sister. No greeting, no reference to brunch. Just urgency, the kind that assumes access. I didn't respond. An hour later, another message. Mom's really stressed. We need your help. By noon, there were 5 missed calls from different numbers. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in months. An aunt who only reached out when she wanted something done neatly and quietly. I stared at the screen and felt the familiar pull, the role I'd been cast into early and never officially released from. The fixer. The translator. The one who knew how to fill out forms, calm people down, make the right call. I typed, "What's going on?" Then deleted it. By evening, the messages changed tone. Please. This is serious. We don't know what to do. I finally answered my sister's call. Why didn't you come back, she asked, skipping straight past the present. We weren't invited? I said. A pause. That's not. What do you need? I asked. She exhaled. Mom fell. Not badly, but the doctor thinks she shouldn't be alone for a while. There's paperwork. Insurance. They're talking about home care. It's all a mess. I closed my eyes. I could already see the forms, the phone trees, the careful language required to make institutions move. I can't help the way I used to, I said. But I can help. Silence, recalibrating. The next morning, a social worker called me directly. She had my number because my sister gave it to her. Her voice was calm, practiced, unmistakably official. We need consent to proceed with temporary in-home support, she said. Given your mother's condition, we'll need a primary contact who can coordinate. I can be that, I said. With conditions. We met 2 days later in a fluorescent, lit office that smelled faintly of coffee and disinfectant. My mother sat straighter than I'd ever seen her, hands folded, eyes darting. She smiled at me like we were meeting at a grocery store. The social worker went over the plan. Dates. Requirements. Signatures. I'll need your daughter's availability, she said to my mother. My mother looked at me. Really looked, this time. Not as an accessory. Not as an assumption. I'll be available during business hours, I said. Communication goes through me. No last-minute changes. My mother opened her mouth, then closed it. She nodded. After the meeting, we stood in the parking lot. The cold made everything sharper. I didn't mean what I said. My mother offered. Not an apology. And I know, I said. And I did. That was the problem. I helped. I made calls. I set boundaries that sounded boring and firm. When relatives tried to go around me, the social worker redirected them. Authority has a way of clarifying things people pretend not to understand. At home, my daughter asked why my phone was ringing so much again. I told her we were helping Grandma, but we were also keeping ourselves safe. She nodded, satisfied. Kids know when the ground under them is steady. A week later, my mother texted me a photo of the living room, Rearranged for accessibility, no commentary. Just evidence. I replied with a thumbs up. Reconciliation didn't arrive with tears or hugs. It arrived with schedules and neutral tones and a respect that had to be learned the long way around. Some days, I missed the fantasy of being welcomed back with open arms. Other days, I felt something better unafraid. On Christmas morning, we stayed home. We made pancakes. My daughter wore pajamas until noon. The phone buzzed once. "Thank you," my mother wrote. I stared at the word. Then I put the phone down and flipped another pancake, letting it brown just a little more than necessary.